And a lot of people are like, well, why don't you take care of it yourself? I don't know how.
Hi Curslings, today we are catching up on this mad mama. Now, when we last heard from Veronica on July 15th, she had revealed that her youngest child had tested positive for lead poisoning.
The only reason the other little kids are not home already is because Modi tested positive for lead.
After dropping that particular bombshell, Veronica would go on to take a 2-week hiatus from TikTok and her exploding comment section. During this hiatus, she would be spotted here and there on Facebook and Instagram, mostly to post selfies and to share posts relevant to her current situation. But otherwise nothing concrete in terms of her progress resolving the lead in her home or regaining custody of her 4 youngest children. Then on Wednesday, Veronica finally posted this update to her TikTok, where, over the course of 4 videos and roughly 20 minutes of content, Veronica addressed her supporters and critics alike with, you guessed it, more excuses. A running theme with this mad mama, it seems. But rather than go over each video with you one by one, snout to tail, I've decided to give you the highlights, the Coles Notes version, because the TikToks are a vibe. They're a lot. Beginning with the lead situation. You may recall from my last video that Veronica had been quoted $10,000 by the health department to have the lead on her windows and door frames removed, a number that she didn't bother to quantify or clarify in her previous videos, and which surprised a lot of people, myself included, because it seemed really high. Turns out, the reason the job will be $10,000 is because Veronica was told that she needs to replace all of her windows.
And a lot of people are saying, why would it cost that much? And I thought that too. Why the hell would it cost that much? So I asked, and it's because the lead inspector said that the windows need to be replaced.
Apparently, it'll just be too hard to deal with the lead that's already on them, for whatever reason.
Some of the windows have lead, and they said that it would just be too hard because of the way that they're made. It'd be too hard to get all the lead paint, and they just need to be replaced.
Veronica also demonstrated just how easily the paint peels off of her windows and doors, explaining that her kids, plural, so not just her 2-year-old it seems, like to peel the paint off.
So my kids were picking at it, and that's like, look. See, it comes right off.
In fact, Veronica says that they had painted over the lead paint when they first moved in, and that it's that paint which is now peeling.
So we painted it. When we first moved in, we painted everywhere where there was lead paint. But the kids like to pick, so they picked it off.
Now, it's unclear if Veronica knew that the windows and doors had lead paint when they painted over it. She should have, as in the state of New York, all sellers are required to provide the lead-based paint disclosure statement for properties built before 1978, a document that Veronica presumably would have received when she purchased the property back in 2020, as the house was built in 1890. Veronica also said something curious about the lead poisoning.
And the other kids have lead poisoning, and I have to take care of the lead, and then the babies can come home.
Kids, plural.
The other kids have lead poisoning.
Interesting, since she's only officially said that her youngest was diagnosed with lead poisoning. Veronica, who doesn't have $10,000 on hand to hire a contractor to replace her windows, had previously said that she was going to start uploading more to TikTok to generate the needed funds through her social media revenue.
That's the only solution I can even see right now. So if you see me posting videos like crazy the next few weeks, please be supportive, like, share, comment, watch, whatever you gotta do. It's really, really appreciated so we can get the babies home.
It seems that that plan went out the lead-contaminated window, though, because now Veronica has decided that she would much rather paint portraits instead.
I would rather if maybe I could like make some paintings and sell them.
In fact, Veronica's ideal situation would be to sell one massive portrait for $10,000, a one and done kind of solution.
I want to make like a big painting, something I can sell for like the $10,000 to get the the painting, you know, done and the windows done, and you know what I mean?
She's also considering selling her paintings through an art auction website over eBay.
So, yeah, I want to maybe sell some actual paintings, like paintings of things, you know? But I'm actually thinking of selling them like through an auction site, not like eBay, but like specifically an art auction site.
Which honestly doesn't exactly sound like a very fast process. Veronica even said that she's speaking with an art dealer. Ooh la la.
I'm talking to an art dealer now and seeing if, you know, there's a way that I can do that.
So yeah, Veronica's going to paint portraits, I guess. And if you're wondering, her commissions are very open.
If someone like really likes art and would like something original from me, shoot me a message and we'll figure it out.
Instead of, you know, just painting over the lead with lead encapsulating paint, like her followers have been yelling at her to do since she first told us about it. Okie dokie. So yeah, when Veronica got called out for this very sensible and completely logical portrait painting plan, she got defensive, saying in 3 separate TikToks that she's just way too sick to do it herself. Besides, even if Veronica was feeling well, she said that she doesn't know how to safely remove lead paint. She doesn't know what she's doing.
And a lot of people are like, well, why don't you take care of it yourself? I don't know how. I don't know how to safely remove lead paint from an entire fucking house. I don't know what I'm doing.
I guess they don't have Google in her county. Instead, Veronica has decided that she'd much rather do something that she does know how to do, like painting portraits, and then use that money to hire someone who does know what they're doing.
The best thing that I can do is do what I can do, make some money, and hire someone else to do it, because I can't. I have no stamina, strength, none of that. Like, I'm trying.
Then learn a new skill and resolve it herself.
I was in a coma in freaking June. I still don't have my strength back. I can sit and make a painting, sure, but I can't sit here scraping. I don't even know if I can just scrape safely.
I mean, it makes sense if you have money.
What I spent on each of my 12 offspring.
But not so much when you're flat broke. As for her original plan to upload more to TikTok, yeah, well, she doesn't really feel like doing that anymore, as all of the negative comments that she's been getting have been bumming her out.
Sorry for ranting. It's just like the negative comments really make it hard for me to get on this app and post anything, and sometimes I try not to even read them, and sometimes I do.
We're the reason she's not posting or something.
I would appreciate if people would be understanding and stop leaving so many hate comments. I'm already very overwhelmed, and I'm trying to get myself to post more so that I can actually make money to get things done for my kids, but all the negative comments drag me down when I'm already at a very, very low point. I'm already struggling very, very much.
As for the kids, would once more explain that she already has the oldest 5 back in her custody.
My older kids are back home.
She also reiterated that she gets unsupervised visits with the youngest 4 kids twice a week, usually at a park.
You know, I get unsupervised visits with the kids twice a week. We go to the park.
As they're not allowed back in the house until the lead has been dealt with.
I get it's a voluntary placement, so I get unsupervised visits with the kids twice a week. But they can't come to the house because of the lead poisoning.
Veronica also clarified a little bit about the voluntary surrender of her kids to CPS, saying that she was told that had she fought it, it would have gone to trial and dragged the process out. So this was the faster option.
The lawyer said just continue with the voluntary placement, because if you fight it, then we have to go to trial and it could take months, and who knows. But if you do it voluntary, you continue voluntary, then you get unsupervised visits, and as soon as you get everything taken care of, the kids come home.
She also said that she's still waiting for Dee's birth certificate, and not just Dee's birth certificate either. Apparently, her daughter A is also without a birth certificate.
Donnie and Amelia actually don't have birth certificates. And so I'm still waiting for those to come in the mail.
Now, in Veronica's hospital TikToks at the end of June, she had said that it would take 6 to 8 months to get the birth certificate sorted, which she echoed again in this batch of TikToks. But then she said this.
Certificates. It takes like 6 to 8 months, and it's already been, well, 8 months. Actually, I don't know why it's not here already, but I feel like the stuff's going to be here really soon.
What do you mean? They should be arriving soon. If it takes 6 to 8 months to process and they're due any day now, like she just said, that would mean that Veronica had filed the paperwork back in January-ish, right? And if that were the case, I feel like Veronica would have absolutely told us that, especially when people started pressing her about it, including in this video back in May. So that's weird. In her comments, Veronica would also clarify why her daughter was without a birth certificate. It's because a Facebook group convinced her not to get one, which, yikes. Don't listen to Facebook groups ever, please. Anyway, this means that Veronica likely hasn't received any state benefits for either child this entire time.
They also mentioned that he doesn't have health insurance, and I read the comments and I saw people saying, oh, they live in America. If they get food stamps, they have health insurance.
But then wonders why her monthly $1,400 of food stamps aren't enough. What a mystery. Then there's also the question of how Veronica was able to enroll A into school last September, as New York schools require proof of age, like through A birth certificates. Did she even go to school last September? Because I could have sworn she did.
Mad Kids School Fashion. Week 1.
I swear, I feel like for every answer we get, we also get like 10 other questions. Then there's Veronica, the endlessly confusing enigma herself, who over the last couple of weeks has been making various social media posts about her mental well-being, or lack thereof, which she also brought up in these TikToks.
And I'm under a lot of stress, and it's very overwhelming for me.
Also under a lot of stress, and it's really, really hard sometimes just to get myself to think.
I think she might be feeling stressed and a little overwhelmed.
Like I'm just so overwhelmed, and I'm a single mom now. My ex was abusive and he's out of the picture, and I'm like trying to do all this stuff myself with almost no support system, and I feel like I'm drowning, and the water just keeps getting deeper and deeper, and everyone's laughing at me for drowning and telling me, why don't you swim? Like, well, I'm sorry, I fucking can't. The water just keeps getting deeper. I can't ever get to the top.
This stress, Veronica says, is because there's a bunch of other things that she has to get sorted, like her roof needing to be repaired and property taxes being due.
Like I have to fix my roof. I have to pay my property taxes.
There's multiple issues with the house, okay? So it's not just the lead paint. I also gotta fix my roof. I also gotta pay my taxes. Like, I am just drowning in things that are so hard for one person to have to deal with, and being like, I'm a single mom.
Veronica also talks more about how she almost died from overdosing on Tylenol. A lot.
My kids were taken by CPS when I almost died. I was in a coma.
She also mentioned how she's still feeling very weak.
I was in a coma in freaking June. I still don't have my strength back. Like, people don't seem to understand that I'm not lazy. I'm fucking weak. My body has been through so much.
How she's having panic attacks and feeling depressed.
Almost every day I wake up with a panic attack. Some are more, like, aggressive than others. Like, sometimes I just get random crying fits where all of a sudden I'm hyperventilating and crying for no reason.
I was getting constant, like, crying fits.
And just how traumatic her recent near-death experience was, and how people don't understand what that's like to almost die and or live with chronic health issues.
Unless you've really been through, like, a serious trauma, you're not gonna understand what I'm talking about, and so that's wonderful for you. But I feel like people who have gone through real traumas, they will understand.
Then, to really drive all of the above home, Veronica reminded us about how she almost died 4 times in the last 4 years.
So I almost died 4 times in the last 4 years.
And within the last 4 years, I've almost died 4 times. Do you know anyone else who's almost died 4 times within the 4 years?
Yet, despite all of her health issues and near-death experiences, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that Veronica still chose to have another child. To make that make sense. Yet, despite Veronica's alarming descriptions of her mental health, it isn't really anything new for her, as Veronica has described having panic attacks for years.
I understand that it's hard for people to fathom that other people have their own issues, health issues, emotional issues, whatever.
And had even said that she was feeling depressed before she accidentally overdosed on Tylenol, leading many people to speculate that this was an actual suicide attempt. In fact, whenever Veronica has been asked if she has ever sought out mental health support, she has said that therapy can't help her, or that it was ineffective, and that she doesn't want to take medication anyway. Veronica has even said that a therapist was inappropriate with her one time, and that's why she's reluctant to try again. She also responded to all of the comments she got telling her to get a job job. She can't, okay? She's too sick and physically weak to stand for long periods of time, so get off her back.
You don't understand, and I'm saying this to the haters, you guys don't understand what I've been through just in the last 4 years. Everyone's like, oh, just go get a job. Do you understand what my body has been through? I don't have the stamina to just stand all day, no matter how much I may want to. I can't.
Even though, as this person pointed out, the Aldi in her area is currently hiring and you can sit on the job. And speaking of Veronica's comments section, I wouldn't say that it was as bad or as negative as she's made it out to be. Most of the comments I observed were from concerned people making helpful suggestions about how she could remove the lead paint herself, or people sharing resources for financial support and lead abatement programs in her state. A few people even offered to help Veronica in person, although how honest those offers actually were is anyone's guess. We also learned in Veronica's comments that she can't get a loan due to a poor credit rating, which, if she had bothered to fill in the form to have her student loans forgiven, would absolutely help to improve said credit score.
I could probably get my student loans forgiven if I filled out this one form online, but that's not going to help me with the current problems that I have.
But clearly, that's a waste of time and can't help her right now, so... Veronica also revealed that she doesn't have house insurance, which is kind of a qu'est-ce fuck, especially because I'm pretty sure her sister sells insurance. What's going on there? A lot of people also suggested that Veronica refinance her mortgage, not realizing that she owns her home outright. Although, apparently you can refinance without a mortgage, as Veronica could pull some funds from her home's equity, something she'd need to talk to someone at a bank for and do, the adulting thing, and which may also be reliant on her shitty credit score. Once again, reinforcing why she should have her student loans forgiven. Just saying. I also saw people suggest that she sell the property outright, to which Veronica said this, but then where would we live? She's not wrong. While others suggested that she move into subsidized housing, which I believe has a waiting list even for emergency placement, so I'm not sure how good of an idea that would be. Not to mention that renting requires money, something that Veronica doesn't seem to have a lot of right now. Veronica also revealed in her comments that her county is without a lead abatement program. Like a lot of folks, I thought Veronica lived in Onondaga County outside of Syracuse. Turns out she actually lives in Oswego County, which would explain why she ended up at the Oswego Hospital. Whatever the case. I looked into lead support programs in her county and could only find this, which does not offer financial support. Her county website was also a fruitless endeavor, and the private environmental construction company thingy out of Syracuse that I reached out to also could not point me to anything in her county. That doesn't mean that there isn't financial programs available to Veronica in her state. It just means that she would need to do a ton of research and likely do a ton of calling around until someone can point her in the right direction, something I don't think Veronica's willing to do right now. Because let's face it, painting over lead paint is too complicated for a professional painter.
I don't know how.
There was also a lot of people over the last couple of weeks who have suggested that Veronica make a GoFundMe. This idea she actually addressed, saying that she felt weird about making one, even though she's totally made GoFundMes in the past.
I know everyone's like, make a GoFundMe. I haven't made a GoFundMe because I feel bad. Like, I don't know. I don't want to I don't know how to explain.
There was also a lot of comments from people fed up with Veronica's excuses in these TikToks, as well as her general seeming lack of urgency to get her kids back or to have the lead removed. In fact, I think this comment really encapsulates what a lot of us have been feeling, where Brie wrote, "I'd scrape the lead paint off with my teeth if that's what it took to get my babies back." Goddamn right, Brie. I would too. And it's Veronica's seeming lack of passion, concern, whatever about this issue that has frankly really rubbed folks the wrong way, as it has given the impression that Veronica doesn't even want to get her kids back, or that she's just not in any hurry to do so. Meanwhile, it also doesn't help that Veronica has been posting stuff like this and appearing in untagged photos with her friends, only then to post this kind of shit when people obviously have opinions about it. And don't get me wrong, I personally have zero qualms with Veronica spending time with her support network. I think it's a good thing, especially if her mental health is as bad as she says. My issue, and I think a lot of other people will agree with me, is that Veronica has spent a lot of time ignoring suggestions, ignoring concerns, ignoring offers of help, all while telling people she can't do anything because she's too sick and too stressed and too overwhelmed, so much so that she's having regular panic attacks and she can't stand for very long. But then she turns around and goes out with her friends, or dyes her hair, or takes a bunch of selfies, including while out and about, or with her makeup done, whatever, instead of just showing progress and the steps that she's currently taking to solve this problem she foisted onto her audience, that she dropped onto us. It's understandably going to send a confusing message, so of course people are going to be questioning what the fuck is going on and whether she's being sincere or just sad fishing for coins and attention. I personally think it's column A and column B. I really don't know how I feel about it, beyond feeling annoyed and frustrated and empathetic, so womp womp. Now, these TikToks aren't the only things that Veronica has posted. In fact, there is a lot more for me to cover, as she has also put out 3 vlogs on her YouTube channel in which she does address some of the things we have talked about in this video. Not everything, but there's been a few updates and some movement on her part, finally.
So, someone messaged me on TikTok and they were like, there's a paint you can buy that seals lead paint instead of removing it. I didn't know that.
And she has also uploaded again to TikTok, and it's... yep. We are in full-on deflection mode now, so yeah.
But you know, it kind of just makes you look crazy that you stalk my page and make up lies about me.
Finally, I want to end this video by letting you guys know that I did reach out to Veronica about possibly doing an interview. A sort of casual, low-effort, laid-back, tete-a-tete to just talk about everything that's happened and hopefully smooth everything over and, like, fill in all the blanks. I even said that I would send her my questions and talking points in advance, that way she wouldn't be blindsided. That list, by the way, currently sits at around 50 questions that I would very much like to have answered. Veronica did reply to me, and this is what she said. "I actually don't know who you are, but I can assure you that a lot of the things said about me aren't true." Oh. Okay. I guess you really don't know who I am, since everything that I know about you, Veronica, comes from your content. Unless you're admitting here that you're a liar. Okay. Oh, alright. Anyway, this was my response, and yeah, that's it. She hasn't replied since. Obviously, I didn't have any expectations for this. I wasn't expecting her to jump onto a call with me as soon as I proposed the idea. But I do think it would behoove Veronica to smooth those details of her story out and to fill in all the holes. How she chooses to do that is up to her at this point, as the current, somewhat shifting version of her story isn't doing her any favors, like, at all. Because this whole thing has just become a hot mess of what the fuck. Anyway, that's it for me. I want to thank everyone for liking, commenting, and subscribing, with a big thank you to all of my members. As always, you guys are rad. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!